Hello everyone. So this is our last session of our lesson. So in previous session we have learned about the food poisoning. So food poisoning means what? The pathogens or the microorganism producing some toxic substances on the food. And if we are eating that food, maybe we just fall as a food poisoning victim. So this is important that we should preserve the food to prevent it from being spoiled. So see, in this slide I have mentioned that why do we need to preserve food, means why we should preserve the food. So first one is we need to preserve food because microorganisms that grow on food can sometimes produce toxic substances which are poisonous to us. That already I have mentioned in food poisoning, that pathogens can produce poisonous substance and that food become a poisonous to us. So that's why we have to preserve the food. Sometime when if we are consuming or we are eating the spoiled food or that poisonous food, we can become seriously ill or die. Means two possibilities are there. First one is illness and second one is death. So that much we should take care of the food from being a spoiled. So here we are going to learn some techniques or some methods that how to preserve the food. This slide, so I have shown here that the use of preservative, use of common salt, use of sugar, use of oil and vinegar, use of hot and cold treatment and use of sealed airtight packets. So this is the just overview of these preservative methods that we are going to learn. So first one is use of preservative. So I have given here in brief that which preservatives we are going to use to preserve the food. So whatever the chemicals are there that we are used to protect our food from being spoiled are known as preservatives. So many preservatives are there that we are going to learn here. So first one method is that of preservation of food is chemical method. So in this chemical method we are use some salt or edible oils. So that are the preservatives. So how they are just preserve the food, that we will learn one by one, but this is the main point, that is whatever the preservatives we are using that are the chemicals, and that's why the method is chemical method. When the food is just spoiled, that emits a bad smell and has a bad taste and change the color. Have you seen that type of food? When you are keeping the food, or for example I will take a bread, okay, now you have to do one activity. Take bread and just keep in a moist condition. After 2 to 3 days you just you will see that in moist condition the bread is just attacked by the fungus, means fungus is growing there. So if you want to preserve that food, you have to use these chemical methods. Now again you have seen that when your mother is making pickle, so oil is used to cover that pickle. Do you know what is the use of that oil? Or when your mother is storing the tamarind, that so your mother or your grandmother using salt, okay, the tamarind is covered by that salt and then keep. So why? Because they want to preserve that food. So same we are going to learn one by one. So preservatives means what? The chemicals which we are used to protect the food from being spoiled are known as preservatives. So many preservatives are there like salt, sugar, oil, vinegar. So these all are the preservatives. So first preservative is a common salt. So when we are using the common salt to preserve the meat, fish for ages, the common salt is used. So in this case, meat and fish are covered to check the growth of bacteria. Means whatever the fishes are there or the meat is there, that is covered with the dry salt to check the growth of some bacteria. Means the bacteria, if the moist condition is there or the food is moist, means the water content is present there, so the bacteria can grow there easily. So we are using the dry salt to check the growth of bacteria, and that process, that preservation by common salt is known as a salting process. Salting process means what? We are using salt to preserve our food. For example, amla, then raw mangoes, tamarind is there. So many nuts or many fruits are there, that dry fruits are there. We are used salt to preserve that food, and that process is known as salting. Whatever the spoil of the food is there, means the food poisoning is there or the spoilage of the food, this is a chemical reaction. Means something is there, something is secreted by that bacteria, and the chemical is produced inside the food that will be poisonous. So the spoilage of food is a chemical reaction, and we have to stop that reaction by using preservative. So first preservation is by using common salt, and that process is known as salting. Next one is preservation by sugar. Means we are using the sugar for storing or preserving the food. For example, jams, jellies, squashes, all this food are preserved by the sugar. So why we are using the sugar to preserve this kind of food? Because the moisture content is there, that present in the food, so that sugar reduces the moisture content, which inhibits or stop the growth of bacteria. Means they are just making a barricades between the bacteria and the food. So like that process is known as sweetening process, so where we are using sugar to preserve food. First one is salting, next one is sweetening process. Now third method is there, that preservation by oil and vinegar, that we have learned. Oil, then when your mother or your grandfather is making the pickle, they are covering that pickle with oil, because oil and the vinegar, it just create the unfavorable condition. Unfavorable condition means what? The condition which cannot tolerate by the microorganisms or some bacteria, means they cannot live in that environment. So like that environment just created by the oil and vinegar. Okay, so like this we can preserve the food such as vegetables, fruits, fish and meat. So when we are using this kind of preservatives, we can preserve the food for many months. So the preservation by oil and vinegar is used for preserving the food. Next one is heat and cold treatment. Now what is that? That heat treatment is also and cold treatment is also. Means simultaneously we are giving the heat, means the hot temperature to that food, and cold temperature to that food. So see, I have mentioned here, boiling of milk kills many microorganisms. After that it is stored or used. In milk many microorganisms are present, and that's why before drinking we are boiling that milk, and after that we can drink that milk. Sometime after boiling we are keeping the milk in refrigerator. Means we are using the hot temperature also and low temperature also for preserving the milk. But we cannot preserve the milk for month. For 4 to 5 days we can preserve the milk. But when there is a large production of milk products are there, so one method is there that used in the industrial industry, that is known as pasteurization. So pasteurization is a method which was discovered by Louis Pasteur. That scientist was there, Louis Pasteur, who discovered this method that is known as pasteurization. So pasteurization is actually a method where we are heating the food to a high temperature. Means we are providing heat to that food, and immediately we chill that food, and then means suddenly we are providing the cold temperature, and then we are storing the food. So that process is known as pasteurization. So I have mentioned here, see, the pasteurized milk can be taken without boiling as it is free from harmful microbes. Means without boiling, if the milk is pasteurized, so we can use that. That is because the pathogens or the microorganisms are not present there. So what is the pasteurization? See that the milk is heated to about 700 degrees Celsius. Just imagine how much high temperature is there. 700 degrees Celsius for 15 to 30 seconds, means half a minute. 15 to 30 seconds, about 700 degrees Celsius temperature is provided to the milk, and then suddenly that milk is just chilled and stored. So by doing the pasteurization, we are actually prevents the growth of microbes. And this pasteurization method is used in industries which are producing the large scale of the milk products. Okay, so both the higher and lower temperature prevents the growth of microorganism, and that's why we are using the pasteurization method. So in exam, maybe the notice there that write about pasteurization. So first you have to explain what is the pasteurization, how the pasteurization is done, and with the pasteurization how we are preserving the food or the milk. Okay, and the last method of food preservation is storage and packing. Means whatever the dry fruits are there or the vegetables are there that we directly taken from the market, we can keep that in airtight packs. Means the moist condition should be not there. Means if you are keeping the dry fruits in moist area, maybe microorganisms can attack to that dry fruits and just spoil that. So if you want to preserve that food for many time or for much time, you have to store that food in airtight packets and in a dry condition. So this is the last method of preserving the food. So we will just look this. See the use of preservatives that we are used in pickles, jams and squashes. So some chemicals that are salts, edible oils that actually check the growth of microorganisms. Then the two commonly used preservatives are sodium benzoate and sodium metabisulfate. These are two common preservatives are there. Next one is use of common salt that we are using to preserve tamarind, amla and raw mangoes, that is known as salting. Next, use of sugar which reduces the moisture content and then stop the growth of the food and spoiling of food. Next one is use of oil and vinegar that we are added in pickles, fish and meat. So while we are adding, means when we are adding the oil and vinegar, they are just providing that environment which cannot tolerate by that bacteria. Next one is use of hot and cold treatment, means the pasteurization method is there. And next one is use of sealed airtight package, that is about the storage and packing. Means we have to keep the food in a dry place and in a airtight packed tin or bags. So in this way we can preserve food. So I hope that you have understand about the preservation of food. Now we are going to our next point, that is nitrogen fixation. Now maybe you have learned the bacteria, that is rhizobium bacteria, in 7 and 8 standard. Maybe that nutrition in plant we have completed about the rhizobium, means how the rhizobium bacteria just doing the nitrogen fixation. So we just revise that things. So see this image, okay, this is a leguminous plant is there, leguminous plant that just take pulses are there. So I am taking this. So the roots are there, and the root nodules, at a root nodule some bacteria are present there. So that bacteria are known as rhizobium bacteria, which lives in the root nodules of leguminous plant. For example, beans, peas, many pulses are there. So when the regarding the nutrition, rhizobium bacteria cannot make their own food, but they are useful in fixation of nitrogen. So that's why when the plant just required the nitrogen, the rhizobium provide nitrogen to the plant through the roots, and that plant in return just give shelter to that rhizobium, give food to that rhizobium. So that sharing relationship is there between the plant and the bacteria. So that relationship or that type of nutrition is known as symbiotic relationship, means both are sharing something to each other. So that is about the nitrogen fixation, because plants cannot absorb the nitrogen directly. That's why this rhizobium bacteria just taking the nitrogen from the atmosphere, then convert into soluble form and then transfer to the plant. So this is about the nitrogen fixation. See, nitrogen constituents 78% of our atmosphere. In our atmosphere means the layer of air. So the percentage or the constitution of nitrogen is 78%. So in living organism, it is found in proteins, nucleic acid, chlorophyll and vitamins. So these fours are there where the nitrogen is present but cannot taken directly by the plants and animals. So that's why they have to fix either lightning or natural nitrogen fixers. Means through the lightning or with the help of nitrogen fixers, the nitrogen is fixed in the soil. So these are two nitrogen fixers are there, that is rhizobium bacteria and cyanobacteria, that is blue green algae, that I have mentioned in this. That one point is there, that is increasing soil fertility. So increasing soil fertility, that use of microorganism, where we are learning about the biological nitrogen fixers. Means these two fixers just help to fix the nitrogen in soil and then increase the soil fertility, which is helpful for the production of the crops or the plants. So this is all about the nitrogen fixation, which is fixed by the rhizobium bacteria or the cyanobacteria, means the blue green algae. So we have learned, because we have to learn this nitrogen cycle, means how the nitrogen cycle is doing the work, means how the nitrogen cycle. See figure 2.10 nitrogen cycle. So first we will learn this. When in exam the question is there, nitrogen cycle, write a note on or draw or explain the nitrogen cycle. Don't do the retta of these things, just learn and remember this cycle, and from this cycle you have to explain these things. Means only with the help of this diagram you have to explain and you have to write the answer in your own word. So let's start our nitrogen cycle. See, the first is atmospheric nitrogen, because nitrogen is present in the atmosphere, that is 78% nitrogen is there. So either by lightning or by nitrogen fixers, means two methods are there, by lightning or by fixers, that is rhizobium or the blue green algae. So two ways are there of fixing nitrogen, that is lightning and fixers. So this atmospheric nitrogen is fixed by lightning or nitrogen fixers, means the bacteria, when the nitrogen fixers are there, atmospheric nitrogen is first taken by these fixers, nitrogen fixers, and then these bacteria convert the nitrogen into nitrogenous compound. Compound means, see, the nitrogen into nitrogenous compound means many kind of compound, means many chemical or many substance added into nitrogen and form the nitrogenous compound. When the lightning is there, atmospheric nitrogen is directly converted into compounds of nitrogen, but when the nitrogen fixers are there, first this nitrogen is fixed or taken by these fixers and then convert into nitrogenous compound. This nitrogenous compound then uptake by plants, means plants are taking these compounds of nitrogen from the soil through the roots. So uptake by plants means this, from this to this, and these plants, when plants are the sources of our food, so that's why we are eating the plants. See here, animals eat plants, means animals are directly eating the nitrogenous compound. When the animals died, this nitrogenous compound just mixed in the soil. See, again we are coming here. Sometime this nitrogenous compound taken by these bacteria, and this nitrogenous compound convert into gaseous form and again mixed with the atmospheric nitrogen. Means always this cycle is just going on every time. Means first atmospheric nitrogen through the lightning or fixers convert into nitrogenous compound. This nitrogenous compound taken by plant, these plants eaten by these animals. When the animals just died, again that waste is mixed in the soil, and sometime the bacteria just taken this nitrogenous compound, again convert into gaseous form, and this nitrogen, that gaseous nitrogen again mixed in the atmosphere. So like that the cycle is just going on. Because the nitrogen cycle is just going on, the percentage of nitrogen in the atmosphere remains more or less constant, means the 78%. Here we are taking the nitrogen, means we are just doing the less of the nitrogen, that is not happening, because again the atmospheric nitrogen or again the nitrogen is mixed in this atmosphere. So always the cycle is going on, and that's why the nitrogen percentage remains constant. So that is all about the nitrogen cycle. So with the help of this diagram you have to explain your nitrogen cycle. Again I am explaining. See, atmospheric nitrogen, two ways are there, lightning and nitrogen fixers. When the lightning is there, directly atmospheric nitrogen convert into nitrogenous compound. But if the fixers are there, they are taking the atmospheric nitrogen and then convert into nitrogenous compound. This nitrogenous compound that present in the soil taken by the plant, then these plants just eaten by these animals. When the animals died, this nitrogenous waste again mixed through the excretion in the soil, and this nitrogenous compound again convert into gaseous nitrogen by the bacteria and mixed in the atmosphere. So again and again our cycle is going on. So here I have explained this nitrogenous cycle point wise. Still if you have any doubt, so you can write the nitrogen cycle in your own words from this slide. So today's homework is that you have to write or explain the nitrogen cycle. So don't forget, whatever I am giving the homework, you have to write in your notebook. Okay, that uses of microorganisms, then harmful effects of microorganisms. Next one is that you have to read the diseases caused by microorganisms in human beings, in plants and in animals. Next, just read about the food preservation. The nitrogen cycle is most important note of this lesson, so that's why I am giving homework that you have to write the nitrogen cycle in your notebook. Okay, so just draw this cycle and point wise 1, 2, 3 like that. Just write the nitrogen cycle in your own words. Okay, and complete the exercise. Then we will discuss in our next session about the exercise. So still just read, learn and remember all these things what we have learned in this lesson. If you have any doubt regarding any point, just ask in comment box. Okay, take care.